Good afternoon. Today we will be looking at the MailChimp tutorial, which, as you know, is going to be a follow-up of our list building section, which we touched on in Module 2. Now, the main reason why I wanted to do this quick webinar about MailChimp is because I know that a lot of you are actually asking questions, you know, what do I use to list build? How do I go about setting things up? You know, maybe I have some contacts that I can use, you know, how do I start building this up? So I thought about giving you some information early so that you actually have the tools to start building your lists immediately. Now, why am I using MailChimp? Of course, there are many other tools that you can use out there. There is GetResponse, which is extremely similar to MailChimp. There are many other tools like, you know, one of my favorite ones is ConvertKit that can do a lot more. So there are many different tools out there that are maybe more advanced and more expensive. The reason why I'm using MailChimp is because the entry level is very easy. You get to register for a free account. You don't have to pay for it to try it. And if your list is relatively small, which is smaller than 2,000 email addresses, then you actually get to send as many emails as you like for free. So here we are on the MailChimp login page. So of course I have already registered for a few accounts and I already have some lists. However, I'm going to show you how to do this. Of course, if you're going to register, all you need to do is give them your email address and a password, and off you go. You immediately have access and you can start creating your list. So that's in fact the first thing we're going to do today. So the first thing is going to be to actually create our list. So I'm going to log into my account. And just so you know, MailChimp will log you out every now and then because it has a security feature that does not obviously allow other people to access your account. So you might have to re-log in every now and then. Don't worry, there is nothing wrong with it. That's just the way it works. So the first thing we're going to do is actually create a list. So when you log in, you go to the Lists tab and you go to Create List. Now, the list is going to require a name, and it says at the bottom here that your subscribers will actually see this. So be extremely careful because I have received emails before where they have clicked and where you click and then, you know, it tells you, for instance, you know, email list sourced from friend, you know. So obviously it's very important that you name it in a way that other people will understand. For instance, let's say I'm sending this to my course subscribers and I'm going to say, you know, content for profit online course. So if they look at that, they will just see the name of the course. They know they're following it, so that's absolutely fine. Next is default from email address. And I'm going to use my work address in this case because if you do not use an email address that MailChimp has already verified for you, it will actually send you an email there and then so that you confirm it. And then the default from name. So what do you want them to see in the from field? And in this case, I'm going to use my course acronym, which is CFP, and my name. And I want to remind people how they signed up in the first place. Now, this is the text that actually appears when you're going to actually confirm your email address. So, you know, sometimes you register for a form and you get an email to confirm your email address. This is the text they will see. So perhaps to remind them how they signed up to your list is not a very good description. However, it gives you some examples down here. So you might want to say, you might like to say, thank you for registering. We will be sending you regular email notifications, or something of the sort. Or let's call them updates. Notifications a bit heavy. Okay, so then you want the company or organization. And of course, you can change this. In this case, you could call it, I don't know, the course name. And then there is a physical email address, which you always have to put in because that is required by law, and it will actually appear at the bottom of each email address. Now, very interestingly, at the very bottom of your list, you have these three items to tick. I like to go for the daily summary, which means that once you have the form so that people can register, MailChimp will actually send you a summary of every single item, every single person that actually registers. Now, obviously, if you are expecting a lot of notifications, a lot of people registering, then you definitely don't want to get them one by one. Then you can just get a daily summary. You get an email that says, 24 people registered today, and here's your summary. Then you can click through and you can have a look and see who those emails are. So daily is definitely better. You might also want to be notified about people who are unsubscribing. The reason being that maybe that might mean that what you are actually offering is maybe putting people off. So you might want to stop what you're doing if you see that unsubscribe notifications are actually coming in. So here we are. We have created our list, and it has called it Content for Profit Online Course, and obviously we have no subscribers yet. Now, how do we add our subscribers? You can actually go in and add your subscribers one by one. You'll need an email address, a first name and a last name, and although you can import lists with more fields, I would always recommend just keeping it to these. Your lists don't need to be complex, they just need to be clean. You only need a person's name and email address to get in touch with them, so don't go overkill. So, right, very important that, let's put email address and, email address, name and surname, and of course you have to tick the box. This person gave me permission to email them. Extremely important. Really do make sure you have permission to email them, because you might get yourself into trouble. See, if MailChimp actually realizes, and this works for all the other tools as well, if you get a lot of unsubscribes and a lot of people complaining and reporting you as spam, your account can actually be deactivated and your email address will be banned from the system, because they will be able to tell that a lot of your emails have been sourced in an illegal or unconventional way. So just make sure that you do have permission to email your subscribers. Okay, there you go. So now I have one person in my list, and I can actually go and see when they were actually added and when they were last edited. It also gives you a member rating, which is extremely interesting, because as you email people for different campaigns, the more they click on your stuff, the more stars they will get. So you'll be able to eventually perhaps segment your best users or your warmer leads according to this member rating. Right, another interesting aspect is that you can actually go back to my list here, and I can actually import subscribers. Now, when you go to import subscribers, you can do it in three ways. There are the integrated services, which I don't need to go into because that is perhaps the most complex way. And, all these tools are actually expensive paid tools. And I'm assuming that for this level, we're doing people who, are going for the basic account. So you're still trying it out with the free versions. So you can do two things: CSV, which is basically an Excel file that's saved as a .csv. You can also use Mac Pages, which is just as good, and also save it as a .csv. Or else you can actually copy and paste contacts from your Excel or XLSX files. Now, I would definitely recommend using the copy. So what you need to do is just create a field according in your Excel. So you need to create email address, first name and last name. So you could say, let's have a look. So I could just open my pages and go for a new document, which has the email address, the name, and the surname. I'm going to use a different email address here. Which is going to be info@definedbranding.com. And I'm just going to copy the fields and just paste them here, and they go right in. As you can see, all I did was copy from a Pages document, which is like an Excel document, and paste it in here. Obviously, I understand that my billing plan may be automatically upgraded, because if you have, thousands of emails, it might go over your limit, and then of course you will be asked to pay. So I'm going to just go to next. And here I have email address. And so I have two unmatched. Column name. So this is the email address. As you can see down here, this one needs to become the name. So first name, see, it asks you to match the content. If you have a long list, it will still just pick the first one to match this. And then you match the last name. Here we are. So we save, and you can go to next. And we just go to, so these are subscribed. And you go to import. And here we are. It has added my import to my list. There you go. Of course, what I would suggest is, as you have seen, it just takes, you see, email address, first name and last name. So what I would suggest is actually just starting an Excel document and copying and pasting from wherever you currently have your contacts, and just using the import as simply as you saw it here. Importing a document can sometimes be quite complex, especially if your formats are not right, or maybe your Excel version is not compatible. So copying and pasting is always going to be the easiest option. Right, so once you have your list, then you can create a sign-up form. Now, what do you need a sign-up form for? A sign-up form is actually the form that allows people to enter their details and go directly into your list. So now in this case, it gives you a few options. So you can have general forms, you can have embedded forms, subscriber pop-up, and form integrations. Now, what is the difference? In general forms, this is just a form. This is just a form that you can create and people can click through to. So if I create a form here, see, it will give me a URL. And what I can do is I can put this on a button anywhere I want. And then when they click, they will find this form. So in fact, this is probably the easiest way of using a sign-up form. I will show you the others as well. See, the embedded form actually gives you the code to put in your WordPress page or your HTML page. I do not recommend this because your HTML editors can and will strip the code and it might get broken. So it will stop working and you won't know. We have a subscriber pop-up, which can be interesting, but if people have pop-ups blocked, then it won't come up. And then we have form integrations with third parties, which is not something we're going to cover today because that is a more complex one. So I'm definitely going to suggest going for general forms because this applies across the board and you can simply put the code in a button or even in your text, just link it. So what am I going to say now? So here I'm going to put a title for my form and I'm going to say register for August's intake of the content for profit course. And I'm going to save and close. And I also might want to add, I like to add this, oops, spelling mistake. Good job for spell check. Gosh, I did it again. And underneath, you may want to add that, you know, we hate spam and will never share your email address. Just to encourage people, you know, to tell them what your policy is. There you go. And next thing is, well, I also like, so let's go to the Design It tab now. And here, you can actually add more fields if you wanted to, and they will be automatically added to your list. And when I go to the Design It stage, I can actually edit this again. Now, just a second. Okay, it just wants me to save. So here we are. See, it's a little bit temperamental. However, it's a very good idea to actually move your email address to the bottom. You do need to make sure that you caught it, right? It takes a little while to get used to it. However, I am still in the building phase when I do this. All I do is click on it, keep it clicked, and then drag. And I also like to remove the last name because I don't use that in my email shots. So I like to remove that. The less information you request, the more people will register. So it actually asks me to delete, which is great because once I've deleted it, I cannot reverse it. But I mean, as you can see, if I have to write delete, then I definitely cannot do it by chance. So here I am. And what I like to add as well is, you know, subscribe to lists sounds a little bit boring. And so I like to put a call to action there. So, and I can do this by going to the translation tab and finding the subscribe to list that goes on the button. And I like to write, for instance, join the course today. Which sounds a little bit more like a call to action, you know, and, you know, might encourage people to sign up a bit more. So here we are. I have now finished designing it and I am saving the settings. Here I am again. And if you go into the build it section, you can see it like this. See, it's changed to join the course today. And if I go up here, I can actually click and put in the link. And this is what people will see when they click the button. So I can put that on any button in my website and I can see the form. So this is really a quick way of doing it. So what's even better? So the next thing I would want to do is actually find an easy way of integrating this in every page of my website. So of course, here I have put a form for you to register for a course. So that is, of course, going to be in a specific page, maybe a sales page that I have put together, and I have the free mini course, and you need to register to get emails with the free content. So this is the kind of setup we're looking at here. However, you're going to have instances where you just want to have a registration form everywhere on your site so that people can register, and every person that visits your site can actually see that they can follow you to get updates. So this is where it gets interesting. I'm going to introduce you to another free small tool, which is called Hello Bar. Now, if you have a look at the site, this is what Hello Bar actually looks like. So I am currently logged in. So this is my welcome page. So if you go to Hello Bar, the first thing you're going to see is that you can actually register with your Gmail account, which is fantastic. Or you can just put in, like we saw with MailChimp, your email and your email address and a password. So what happens when you log into Hello Bar? So what I am going to show you how the form actually works, because I have put one together earlier so that I can actually show you. So here it is on my website. I have put a hello bar up here, and you can see I'm using the free version because so it's got an H. And I will put a link underneath this video so that you can find the link to the right page. And see, all I have done is actually added a form that says your name and your email, and says get free updates. And what this does is it appears in every page I go to on my site, so that, here we are, so that it appears where I tell it on my site, so that I can actually collect people's email addresses. And this goes directly to my MailChimp registration. So here I'm going to show you exactly how that's worked. So now here you're seeing a missing step, because when I go to select this goal, which is grow your mailing list, when I go to grow your mailing list, it's going to actually it's going to ask you for which website. Now, I have already told it that it's for stephaniefitani.com, so it's not going to ask me again. However, you will be asked to specify which site exactly you're going to put it on. And all you put is just your site, www.stephaniefitani.com. There's no need to put the HTTP. So that's all of it. So what do you do next? So here it asks you what your mailing list, what your hello bar should say. So this is the text that will appear. Let me show you. So this is the text that appears right here. In mine says here, free online visibility, news, tips and tools. So this is a promise of what they're going to get if they register. So we could say something as simple as receive updates. What we can do then, we can say that the button is, get updates to be relevant. And here we are, we go to the next stage. Now, so you want to collect names and email addresses, or just email addresses. As we said, the fewer fields you have, the more people will register. So, but I prefer to have the name, because that way I can actually make the emails personal, and that has a big impact on your clickability rate. So, I would definitely not choose the email addresses only. So what am I going to do then? I'm going to say in which one of my contact lists I want it to go. And what I have done here, I can see select a list. And I have a place called Hello Bar Contacts, which is actually feeding from my MailChimp account. Now, if I wanted to edit this list, let me show you how that happens. See, it actually allows me to choose the list. So here I have called it Hello Bar Contacts, so that I know where my list is coming from. And then it says, where do you want your contacts stored? Now, in this case, see, it gives you all these other email softwares, but I have chosen MailChimp because that's what the tutorial is about today. And here, it actually gives me a list of all the subscriber lists that I've got, and I've called it Update Subscribers. I have chosen that one. And so here, just to let you know, if I say disconnect from MailChimp, see, I can actually show you how it actually reconnects. So all it does is it requests my username and password. Here we are, that's my username and password. And it will redirect me back and connect the two accounts so that I can follow up. There you go. And now I can see the whole list. I'm going to updates and I have chosen my list. So now when I register, it's going to go directly in my MailChimp list. Right, so I'm happy with that. After that, this is the message that shows after somebody's registered. Now, you can only show the default message on the free version. However, if you want to pay the upgrade, which is the smallest one is $12 a month, then you can have a customized page or also a customized message. Okay, so here I choose what it will look like. So see, you can have a pop-up. Or you can have different versions of that. So let's see, in this case, see, it will ask me where I want to place it. So let's see, and it will ask me if I want to delay it. See, you could actually use this to have one of those pop-ups that pop up when the person is trying to leave your website, which works very well. Okay, so if you try to switch off Hello Bar branding, it will ask you to upgrade, which is fair enough. So, I'm going to delete that for now. And I want it to display immediately. Right, so then I'm going to, you can change your colors to match your site. I don't know, perhaps you want it bright green or dark green. Okay, so that's all. And then it is asking you who you're going to target. So, so here it says everyone. And if you had the paid version, then you would be able to choose, whether it's only targeting your mobile visitors or it's only targeting a specific part, only homepage or a custom rule. I'm going to save and publish that. And of course, it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time to actually show up. You will need to refresh your cache quite a few times. You need to refresh your browser and remove the history. However, after a few minutes, it will start showing like this. Unfortunately, it doesn't show immediately, so I actually cannot show you. But this is how it works. The great thing is that now every time somebody puts in their details here, let's see, name is Stephanie, and I'm going to use another email address and say get free updates, and it says thank you for signing up. If you'd like this sort of bar on your site, click here, and this is of course the Hello Bar advert. However, as you can see, there it is, my free online Hello Bar. So that's all I've got for you today. And what I would like to show you last is how to actually create a campaign and send it to your database. So once you have subscribers, what you're going to want to do is actually go to the campaigns section and create a campaign. So here you go. So by creating a campaign, I'm going to choose a regular campaign. So that it actually gives me the templates to choose from. I'm then going to look at, okay, let's see, my content for profit online course, and I want to go for the entire list. And then I'm going to call it campaign name. So I'm going to call it campaign sample in this case. And this is only for you, yeah? So the campaign name will only be seen by you. The email subject, on the other hand, will be seen by the others. So this one is a public email subject. Everyone will be able to see that. And the from name that we specified before. So we want to track our opens, which is extremely interesting. And if you have a Google Analytics account, you can actually add your Google Analytics link below. So I'm not going to use Google Analytics for this because I'm quite happy to just see the open rate. So I'm going to go next. And this is where it gets interesting. So there are quite a few templates I can choose from. However, I find that it's very effective when I just use a simple layout. So I'm just going to select. See, and I just like to have emails without titles. So I'm going to remove the title and I'm going to remove the footer. It will still have the unsubscribe button. You cannot remove that because that is actually required by law. So here, I'm just going to say hello. And this is actually the main feature I wanted to show you. This is why I only get the name and the email address of my subscribers, because I like to use their first name. So as you can see here in merge tags, I can see first name, email address, list name, or opt-in explanation. So I can actually put all of these in my email. So as you can see, it kind of inserts a kind of code. And what that does is it actually inserts every subscriber's name here. So the email comes out personalized. So hello, subscriber name. Thank you for joining our course. And we look forward to kicking off. Please go to this page, and I can actually add a link here. So I can go to www.stephaniefitani.com/login. So I'm going to ask them to go and register there. Please go to this page and register to begin your course. Warm regards, Stephanie. So here I am. So I'm going to save and close it, and I'm going to go next. And at this stage, I can actually send, or I can click the preview and test button, which will allow me to send a test email. So it knows which email address I usually test with, so I can actually send a test. And it will send me an email, and it will show me exactly how my email will look. And I certainly recommend always sending a test, because you will always find something in your email, a typo, something you didn't mean to say, something that maybe sounds a little bit off. Always test once or twice before you send. And then when you're happy, all you need to do is click the send button, and off you go. And that's it. So this is all I have for you today. So today we saw how to create a list on MailChimp, how to import your email list. We also saw how to design and edit the form that actually allows you to get people to register directly and go into your MailChimp list. And then we actually saw how to use HelloBar, which is another free tool, to put your registration form in any website on any page really, really easily. And finally, we saw how to design and send an easy mail shot to your newly registered list. So that's what I have for you today. And thank you very much for joining me for this short bonus video. And